Hi everyone! Today I'm participating in Peartree Cutfiles' first birthday celebration hop, and I'm featuring this cut file called Keys, Phone, Purse, Mask. Marie Hurst, who is the owner of Peartree Cutfiles, has let us know that there will be giveaways and promo codes for the entire month to celebrate, so make sure to check out their Facebook group. I'll put a link down in the description box below. So here I'm working in my Me, Myself, and I #selflove project 2021 Life Crafted album, and when I first saw this cut file, I knew it would be perfect for Heba's prompts, which was one of them is in my purse. And just at the time I was making this spread, our province had actually announced that we weren't going to be wearing masks starting from July 1st. This was filmed back on June 25th. So I wanted to make sure that I got a photo of my mask in my purse to document that for future years to come. So I emptied out the entire contents of my purse and took a flat lay of all the contents, including the mask, and the colors here reminded me kind of a digital collection from Tracy Reed Designs called the Beginnings and Endings Digital Collection. So here I have some of the TN pattern papers that I had printed from her collection, and I'm just seeing which one will work the best behind this cut file here. I decided that this dark gray pattern paper would make the die cut stand out the most. I had cut this die cut to a bit below 4 inches wide, just because the Life Crafted album page protectors are 5 inches wide, so I needed it to fit in that small space. And I'm going to be layering that pattern paper on top of some other pattern papers from that same collection. So there's this white piece with the black florals, as well as that watercolor looking piece there, just to provide some more layers onto my page. Here I'm pulling out the embellishments that I had printed out from that same collection, and these were all cut out using my brother's scan and cut machine. Tracy Reed does have some cut files to go with her printables, so it's really easy to print and cut them out. And my plan is to use that tag die cut as a place to stamp my title for this spread and use some of these floral embellishments to nestle in around my digital cut file. Before I get to embellishing my page, I'm just going to build up the base of that page. So here I'm just tearing the edges of all 3 of the pattern papers that I've chosen, just to create a bit more texture to the left side of the page. I think when you're using digital cut files and digital paper collections like these, when you don't have like embellishments that are chipboard or anything like that, it's really important to try to think of other ways to add texture. So in this case, I'm just tearing the paper, and that adds a bit more texture and just prevents the layout from being a bit too flat. So now that that's done, I'm going to work on embellishing my page. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to be using this tag to hold the title for my page, and I'm just decorating around those layers of torn edges with some floral pieces, just kind of tucking some behind the gray piece and then tucking some behind that black and white floral piece, so that creates a bit more dimension as well. And once that's done, I'm just going to start gluing my layers down to my base page, which is going to be 5 inches by 8 3/8 of an inch, which is the same size as a Citrus Twist Life Crafted album page protector. And I'm just making sure that each layer of pattern paper has some floral elements peeking out from underneath it. Here I'm just punching a hole through the top of my tag so that I can add some twine through it, again just to add some more texture. And I'm just using my Hero Arts Typewriter Letters stamp set to stamp my title, which is in my bag. So the digital cut file that I have on the bottom of my page will be kind of like a checklist of the types of things that I have in my bag, albeit the purse isn't technically in the bag, I guess, but it works well enough. So after I attach the twine onto the top of this tag, I'm just using my Tombow Mono permanent adhesive tape runner to attach the tag onto my page. Here I'm just using my Zig 2-way glue pen to adhere my cut file down to the page. This is my favorite way of adhering cut files down, especially because usually I'm working with a bit smaller cut files, like I've shrunk them down to like a 4-inch wide size, for example, so it really helps having a glue pen with a very precise tip to apply adhesive to all of these small little areas. Next, I'm taking some of these smaller floral elements and just tucking them in some places over the cut file, and in some of the places I'm using my tweezers to gently lift up the cut file so that I can put those floral elements beneath it. And I liked the way this little teal colored heart tab layered on the top of my tag, and I wanted it to look like it was stapled onto the tag, but of course I've already glued my tag down, so instead I just took my Tim Holtz tiny attacher and stapled through just the bottom of that little tab, and once I glue this down into place, it kind of looks like it was actually stapled onto the top of the tag. Next, I'm working on the interactive element in my photo, which is going to go on the left side of the spread. So in the center of this photo, I have my traveler's notebook, which I carry around with me everywhere, so it's always in my purse. And I decided I wanted to make this an interactive element so that it can open and I can have some journaling inside about what I usually have in my purse. So the traveler's notebook in that photo measures 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches tall. And that's like the size in the actual photo, not the real life size of the traveler's notebook. So I printed out this journaling spot that was about 3 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall, so that when you fold it in half, it takes up the same amount of space as the traveler's notebook in the photo. And I also rounded the top right corner and the bottom right corner as well, so that it matches the rounded corners in my traveler's notebook in the photo. And now I'm just carefully cutting along the top, the right, and the bottom edges of the traveler's notebook in my photo, keeping the left side of the traveler's notebook intact so that I can fold it over. And at first I pulled out my ruler because I wanted the edges to be straight, but then I realized like the traveler's notebook just in the photo has its kind of natural bends and curves because it's like not exactly straight in the photo, and also because it's a bit bent obviously with the elastic around it. So I ended up not using the ruler at all. Once that's done, I'm just carefully folding over that cover along where the spine of the notebook would be, and I'm just taking my burnishing tool to really burnish that into place, just because this is a bit of a heavier weight glossy photo paper, and at first I wasn't really sure if it was going to work, but it does seem to work quite well now that I have it burnished down. Next, I'm just putting in my little journaling pamphlet into that book, and I noticed that there was a bit of a gap around the edges of the notebook, so I just decided to back it with some scrap paper that I had left over from when I was tearing the edges for the right side of the spread. So I'm just cutting it down to a large enough size to fit over that hole on the back of the photo, and I'm just applying some Scor Tape to the back of the photo to adhere that scrap piece of paper. After that, I'm adhering my little journaling pamphlet into my traveler's notebook using my tape runner adhesive, and just working on adhering one side of that pamphlet at a time to the inside of that traveler's notebook so that I can make sure it's centered in the middle of that fold out, and also so that I can make sure it's able to open and close properly. Once that's done, I'm just using my Heidi Swapp roller date stamp to stamp my date on the side of this tag, and that finishes up my layout. I hope you enjoyed this process video. Make sure you check out Peartree Cutfiles and their Facebook group for giveaways and promo codes this month, and make sure you check out the rest of the videos in this YouTube hop as well. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe for more process videos, and make sure you check out my Instagram account at ShoePuff Creations for more crafty inspiration. Thanks so much for watching.